So many of my relationships in my life, my family, friends, romantic relationships, I get so, I guess I don't, I'm having a hard time getting the question out. That when something goes wrong, either a friendship dissolves or a relationship or something goes.
When a friendship serves its purpose, when all that I was asking for it has come, is it a failure to move on?
Well, it's the
That's like
pain
going
of
on
it.
vacation and just showing up in the first town and saying, I guess I'll stay here. I guess I'll stay here. Only one restaurant. One little motel with fleas in the bed, but
But why is it so painful when those things happen? It takes so much out of me when.
we think it's because you're looking at it in a way that your inner being doesn't. Remember, painful always means your opinion and the opinion of your inner being about the same subject aren't jiving. So give us a few sentences of what your pain is about. Focus on something specific and then tell us what's painful about it. I failed at this. Your inner being isn't agreeing, and so the feeling of negative emotion is because your inner being knows you didn't fail. I've lost something. Feels terrible because you're looking at something with such a flawed premise, because your inner being knows that nothing is lost.
So it's not because I'm not loving myself enough?
Well, that's the cliche, isn't it? But the reality of it is you're not letting enough of yourself in this moment. That would be another way of saying it. You're not looking at yourself as your inner being is looking at you. Can you find something more specific? You don't have to talk about it in detail, but hold something specific in your mind and then speak those things, and let us show you how your inner being is operating from a different premise than you are when you feel that discomfort.
I miss you. I'm not going to be able to be with you and hang out with you anymore. I don't.
Esther went to a graduation of her granddaughter, and it's junior high going into high school. And it's a small school, and there are 18 students, and they have fallen in love with each other. And the faculty and the teachers who were talking about this graduating class said they'd never seen a class of such harmony. And so they're really enjoying each other, but they are not, during the process of this graduation ceremony that Esther is watching, none of them are displaying any tears. She can feel from each one of them. All 18 of them spoke for a little bit, and Esther sat back and enjoyed the auras that she saw spouting out of each of them. And Esther thought, these kids are not sad about moving on, even though they're leaving a small school and they're going to several different schools. Hardly any of them will be in the same school. So they've found this incredible bonding with one another, and they're not breaking up because they don't like each other. There have never been 18 kids that appreciated one another more than these 18 kids, but each of them are eagerly moving on to what's next. It was such a beautiful thing to see. Now their parents are wanting to make more of it. Their parents are thinking, oh, you're never going to see each other again. Their parents are doing all that drama stuff to it, but the kids have more eagerness about where they're going than sadness about what they're leaving behind. They're still reaching for more. And so maybe as you move through time, you sort of lose that sense of what you're reaching for, and you spend more time looking back at what you're leaving behind. But we promise you, when you get ready to leave this gathering, not one of you is going to stand in that doorway and look longingly back at this room. You're going to go have lunch. You're going to get into your transportation, and you're going to be on to what's next. And if you're longingly looking back, you're dysfunctional. Because there's always more, always more, always more, always more, always more. And so you can look with appreciation at what has been, because it has brought you to where you are. And you can feel eagerness about where you're going, you see. But nothing has gone wrong. You are where you are, and now there's something more. And no matter what happened, you are more for it having happened. And your inner being is exhilarated about it having happened, and is taking the new you now to the next new you place. You see what we're getting at? That's helpful, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. Enough?
Yes.
Really good.
Thank you.
hard to imagine a more pleasurable morning than the one that we've spent together. And yet, having said that, we know there are more. There is no limit to the pleasurable mornings that are set out ahead for you, is there? We want to recap for you the things that we have personally enjoyed most about this interaction. We've appreciated the diversity that you are, that you brought into this forum, the balance, the perfection of balance. We liked a lot as we began talking to you in those early minutes, your willingness to focus and the easy harmony that we found as the vibration that we were offering resonated so easily with the vibration that is you. That is a credit to your practiced alignment. It's unusual. We want you to know you're part of something that is unusual in this forum. Higher vibration coming in, more resonance moving along, and more movement in your vibration than usual. What that says in practical terms is that you are closer to the brink of alignment on a regular basis than you know, which makes us want to put you in that category that you would like to be put in, although we never put anybody in any categories. But we want to call you those masters of energy, because your awareness of the way you feel and your desire and ability to move your energy so quickly makes us want to put you in that category of masters of vibration. So what that means is now you can move on to step 5. Step 1 is ask. Life just does that to you. You don't even have to be good at it. Step 2 is source answers. You don't have to be good at that either. Source is. Step 3 is where your work really begins, and you've been doing a good job of that. You've come to understand law of attraction. You've come to understand your emotional guidance system, and most of all, you all have made the decision that you want to feel good, and you've been guiding yourself toward that with that reason more than any segment of the population that we've ever spent any time with. So step 3 moving along really well, which is why we gave you the label of step 4, because you're doing such a good job of steadily staying there. And now it's time for, in our opinion, the best step of all, which is step 5, which is where you are no longer beating up on yourself for being back in step 1. Step 5 says that you understand contrast, and the conversation that we had just now about contrast was our favorite conversation that we've ever had about anything, because unless you are willing to embrace the perfection of this time-space reality into which you have deliberately focused, and unless you're willing to accept the perfection of the variety and the balance around you, then you cannot possibly receive the benefit of that decision that you made long before you came into this physical body. And it matters a lot. Step 5 means that you're able to look into the world of contrast and understand it for the perfection that it is. It means that you no longer need to demand circumstances and conditions to be a certain way in order for you to feel good. It means that you have found your balance with alignment, and that you are chronically looking through the eyes of source. And in that compassionate connection to source energy, you're able to accept the differences in those around you, not just in an accepting or tolerating sense, but in a knowledgeable embracing of the value of its sense. Which means now you have the opportunity to receive value everywhere you go. You never need to be guarded again. You never need to feel protection of yourself again. You never need to hold yourself off in country clubs or behind gated communities. You don't have to hide or be afraid of anything, because now you are in this place of understanding the laws of the universe, and now you are in the place of actively utilizing your own guidance system the way that you've intended. Now you can go anywhere and have the positive, powerful, uplifting experience for yourself and those who you are inspiring around you in the way that you've intended when you made the decision to be here. We are so pleased with who you are and what you are about and where you are in relationship to the things that you have identified that you want. And we are looking forward to every cognizant awareness that you have about your worthiness and about your perfect placement in this time-space reality. We are eager about what's coming next for you, and next and next and next and next. There is great love here for you. And as always, we remain stubbornly in your vortex.